Welcome to another episode of Band Director Boot Camp, the podcast with productivity and wellness tips for busy band directors. I'm your host, Lesley Moffat, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this platform with you. As busy band directors, we know you don't have lots of time to watch lengthy professional development webinars, so we share 20-minute tidbits with takeaways you can use to support you in this awesome profession in a healthy way. And today I have with me Sam Post. She's from Durango, Colorado, and teaches in a rural school out there where she's been a middle school band director for the last 6 years. She's a graduate of Colorado State University in Fort Collins, and she has a very interesting skill or thing she's been doing. Very cool, that I'm hoping she'll tell us a little bit about too. She has been integrating her musical skills with her circus performance skills. So stay tuned so we can find out all about this. Sam, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much, Lesley. It's been really fun chatting.
Yeah, we've been chatting behind the scenes. Now we'll just chat with all the folks out there, wherever they're listening. Cool. Well, let me tell you guys what Sam's going to talk to us about today. She's going to talk about some strategies that she's used to help her with staying organized, some accessibility tech pointers, and some things she's done to help keep her physical wellness as good as possible while dealing with a chronic illness. And I know a lot of you out there are dealing with some kind of chronic illness, whether it's physical or mental. I had both for a very long time, and our jobs make it really hard to tend to ourselves in the way we need to. And so, yeah, it's not an anomaly to have a music educator out there that's got some of this going. And I want to thank you, Sam, for being willing to be vulnerable and come talk to us. Tell us a little bit about your story and the strategies that you've started to use, because you want to be able to do this for a long time. And you know, you're very wise to be doing some things now to protect yourself long term. So talk to us a little bit about your job, how you got there, and then a little bit more about, we'll dive into that other stuff.
Yeah, so I actually started teaching music when I was a kid. I went to our middle school summer band camps and I started teaching the flute players because none of the music teachers were flute players. And I was like, I'll help out. And it turned out to be just such a big passion for me. I've been in Durango for 6 years teaching music or teaching middle school band. And it has been quite fun. But this past summer, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And if you don't know, multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease. It attacks the myelin within your brain on your nerve endings. So it was quite the summer for me. And I really wasn't sure if I was going to come back this year with this diagnosis. And I actually had no treatments or really even my official doctor at the beginning of the year. So coming back was a little nerve-wracking for sure. But I'm really glad I did it and I went into it. And I took a lot from my own personal strategies that I've used for years to help me out. And then I helped myself with some new stuff that I've picked up from this diagnosis. So I think I've been mostly kind of going through some physical wellness first. So I've been kind of doing my stretching in the morning. So as a circus artist, I do split stretching and flexibility, mobility for about 15 to 20 minutes every morning. And I've started to integrate it at work to help me decompress because I notice it's a really good way for me to just reset in the day. Especially when you have those like somewhat triggering moments of either anxiety or unrest or chronic illness, because those things do come up quite often, and just having a moment to do something physical is really helpful. I actually have a pull-up bar in my office, and I used to do it on passing periods. Now I have some little longer planned times, but it really it's been so important to keep up with my physical health. And I'm using it as a motivator and a self-care where I get to work out today, not I have to work out. And that's been helping with my endorphins and keeping me happy with the chronic illness.
So when you were teaching middle school band, and that clearly you must have sought out some help last summer because were you noticing things in your job? Was something happening to you physically? Was stress causing anything? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So MS is very interesting. There is some science behind stress potentially causing it. Because it is an autoimmune disease, your body's constantly in fight and flight with stress. And then if you continue that for a chronic amount of time, your body can kind of put itself into overdrive. So there's a theory about that. But I actually started getting numbness in my leg, and I had thought that it was a pinched nerve because of all my performance arts. And I worked with the massage therapist for a while. And then I was playing my flute in a July 4th concert, and all of a sudden, the very next day, I couldn't see, and I was tripping over myself and falling just suddenly in my own house. It was a very debilitating experience not to be able to use your body, but I'm so grateful and so thankful that I am literally 110% back, and I am just, it makes me very much appreciative of what I do have, and being grateful for it. But it helps me kind of put so many things in perspective when you can't walk, when you can't see, you sit on the couch and all you got to do is think. So I spent so much of this summer really thinking about my philosophy of teaching and why I'm a teacher, and thinking about, okay, well, I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted this big band, and I wanted this prestige almost of these programs that I remembered growing up as a kid. And as a young director, and especially as a female band director, I was like, this would be sweet. Let me be this high school band director with a big band, and we're going to get all the state awards and stuff. And after my MS diagnosis and going through all of that, it was just like none of that mattered. Not at all. So I realized that why I want to teach is because it's music and we love it.
Oh, yeah. Those middle schoolers.
They really do. They are nuts for a 2-measure pattern that we played in jazz band. I've been hearing it still. It's been 6 months. That's what it's about. That's why I want to be there. It doesn't matter how big the band is or how good we are. It's about them having fun.
What does the MS impact your job? Talk about that a little bit, because I know, again, people might have different illnesses, but when it's impacted, and how do you deal with some of those? I mean, you're talking about some of that, but impacting your job, making
so. For me with MS, the biggest symptom I experience is tingling in my feet and vision haziness. So what happens is it just is a little bit more challenging to see. It's like seeing through a chiffon fabric, which, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a veil. Yeah. It's almost what it looks like. And it happens when I have high levels of stress and anxiety. And as I'm sure many people with chronic illnesses can relate, stress and anxiety, or not being at the same temperature, or not being at the same hydration level, or not being having enough energy from the food from your day. All of those teeny tiny things can bring on symptoms of chronic illnesses. And so I've been trying to really keep track of all right, this is something I have to do, I need to do, and this is something that doesn't really need to be dealt with. So for helping with the symptoms and bringing those down for myself, though, I used a lot of accessibility. So something I used is called Beep. It's I think it's an AI, but it is on your Google for Gmail, and it will do your voice into your Gmail, which is great on your computer. So if I'm fixing an instrument, I can also type an email, which is great. So that one's a good one that I used. And then when I couldn't see very much at the beginning of the year, I couldn't type very well and stuff too. So I had my computer read to me, but I didn't really know how to do that. So I actually don't know how to do a lot of tech stuff. I think I just pretend I do because my dad is the software guy. So I literally just look up what I need to do on Google. So I know the type of laptop, and it was like, how to make Lenovo Yoga speak to me. That's all I did.
What you're doing is you're finding tools to help make doing your job easier and more accessible to you. And I think that's something that's really important. I hope people listening to this saying, wait, if I had, for me, it was, I had pneumonia. And so my lungs got real bad and stuff. And the simple thing of having a lapel mic every day made all the difference in the world. That was my accommodation, if you will.
Right.
And it's had 1,000,001 extra benefits, but the long-term, my voice and everything, and it's contributed to a different kind of classroom feel, I think, too. But the point is, we have to know that if there are simpler ways or better ways that we can do things, we need to ask for the help and get that. And it's hard to, and like you say, you can Google it and find it, but we often don't think that we even should get the help or that there is a way to do something like that, because sometimes we just do things and it's hard and we figure that's how it has to be, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes we just have to think, like you're bringing this to our attention, thinking, what could I do? So I want to talk to you. I'm going to ask a couple specific questions. But before we do that, I just want to ask our audience a couple questions. Are you feeling overwhelmed with the never-ending tasks of being a band director? Do you dream of having a strong music program while still enjoying time for yourself and your family? Well, the Empowered Music Educator Academy is here to turn that dream into a reality. Here at the Academy, we offer a comprehensive suite of resources tailored just for you. From insightful books that offer fresh perspectives to engaging courses filled with practical strategies. But that's not all. If you need a more personalized approach, you can use our one-on-one coaching sessions, which are designed to address your unique challenges, helping you find harmony in your busy schedule. And for a truly immersive experience, join us at one of our retreats where you can rejuvenate and connect with fellow music educators. The Empowered Music Educator Academy isn't just about teaching music. It's about enriching your life as a band director. We're here to ensure you thrive professionally and personally, providing you with personalized tools for wellness and productivity tips that last a lifetime. So don't miss out. Visit our website at powereducator.com to learn more and take the first step towards a more balanced, fulfilling career in music education. Because at Band Director Bootcamp, we believe in empowering you to conduct not just music, but a life you love. All right, Sam Post and I are back here to talk about she's talked about a lot of different strategies she uses. She specifically has MS, but as she says, the chronic illnesses of so many similar triggers, so many similar things that make things harder. But the common things being that we can often find things, and sometimes AI or technology, there are things that can support us just like we use for our kids. Don't forget, we can also use things to help us do things in a more easy and better way. So when we chatted before we got on the call today or on the podcast, you were talking about the job task lists you have. And you said, I know this is pretty basic or seems so simple. And then when you told me what it was, I'm like, yes, it's simple. But I want you to talk about some of the things on your checklist. And I'm going to have you do this because my wedding day, I wish there had been a checklist about stay hydrated and eat, because those are two things I didn't do, but everybody filled up my champagne glass. And I just, all of a sudden I was like, I don't want that. I need food, but it was so late. So talk about some things you've done, because again, our bodies need a lot of things for us to be able to do, first of all, live life, but also to do these jobs. And I love some of tell us about your job task list for maybe your concerts or something.
Yeah, so I created a concert checklist because I was forgetting very simple things like to drink water or go to the bathroom before the concert, because I stay after school for my students who can't go home between concerts and school, which makes my time so much less. And I have a huge checklist of just everything that I need to do, like get dressed and drink water, turn on the lights, open the doors, unlock the doors to the outside of the school so that people can enter the building. Just like really small things, but it's so nice to have because then I just go through my list. I actually gave it to a student 2 years ago, and she did the list for me. So, which was great because then it was already done, but it's all written out. So it was good to be able to have kind of a physical representation of all the things I needed to do. I also do job lists for myself. Saying no a lot at work. So I have a list that I made for myself of everything that is my job and everything that isn't my job, so that if someone comes to ask me and I don't have the time, I can look at my list. And if it's not in my job, I don't do it. And if I have the time and it's not my job, I can do it if I want. But
I've gone to it's either a no or a hell yes, not just a yeah. And it's got to be a firm commitment and then it's better. Isn't it better when you do that? Because then what you're doing, you're vested, you're there. Because you make the commitment to the good stuff, to the things that support your students, to support your program, and that are good for you too, right? Well, yeah, that job task list, because, if you don't write those things down, those are the little things that nag you in the middle of the night at 2:30 in the morning, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you I don't know about you, I used to have this nightmare of Post-it notes with all the tasks just floating around like crazy, like a fan had gone off in the room. And when I got into the habit then of starting to keeping lists and stuff, it was like, as soon as I could anchor that down, I could sleep better. So it's not just, it's for the day, but also to just, once you get it out of your mind and into a concrete list, and it feels so damn good to go check those boxes too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really satisfying. You get that endorphin rush. So that list making and checking things off, really. Yes. And if you do it in a manual list, even if you can type, I'm sure that's all cool too. But sometimes that task of actually writing it down physically, pen to paper, can also help get that out of mind. And then it can help your subconscious. I can get into all that, start working on it for you behind the scenes. So we'll talk on the move. But wow, you've given some really good concrete samples of things you do that I know are going to be helpful for a lot of our listeners who also are dealing with chronic illnesses. So, and busy schedules and lots of energy in the classroom. And so even if you don't have a chronic illness, these are good habits and good things to do for your own just well-being, general well-being. And if something helps you do it easier and faster and just as well or better, I say go for it. So, Sam, thank you so much for being a guest today on I couldn't even say on Pod Director Band Director Boot Camp Podcast. There we go. And I want to thank all you listeners who are making differences in kids' lives every day through the magic of music education. The work you do matters, and so do you. Join us next time on Band Director Boot Camp for another episode of productivity and wellness tips to make your life a little easier.